Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kade and in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you the story of how I got my first full-time job in Finland. I know that getting your first full-time job in your field is like a big thing or can be a big thing up to this day for people who are internationals in Finland, and there's a lot of questions around this topic. So in this video, I would just want to share my experience so that hopefully it can be of value for you. If you do know someone that could benefit from this video, I do invite you to share so that more people can benefit from experiences that other people have lived. In this case, it's about my own experience, but I am sure that the more people start sharing about their personal experiences, the more other people are going to be able to benefit as well. So as always, the timestamps, you can find them in the description. So if you're in a rush, you do not have to watch this entire video. But without any further ado, let's just get started. First, I really just want to give you a little bit of context. Because, okay, so I studied in Savonia University of Applied Sciences, the Bachelor of Business Administration. And honestly, when I started my bachelor's, I knew that I would have to do like several internships. And that's what I did. I actually did 2 internships and that were like really of value of me. Actually, like I made a video where I share about my internship experiences. I'm just gonna link it in above so that you can watch it in case you're interested. But the third internship that I had was in Savonia, was in the communications department. And the way in which I got this internship was really incredible, because a lot of people are gonna tell you when you come to a new country, I guess like in this case, of course I'm talking about Finland, but no matter the place where you are, you really have to come and be active and get to know people and really network, because really like people are, in many cases, not the only option, but a really strong option in which you are gonna open yourself doors to newer opportunities. And that's exactly basically what happened. The way in which I got this third internship, which I really wasn't looking for anymore, was because I was an active member of the European Youth Parliament. And at the time, when I was still a student, we were organizing I was one of the organizers for the international session that was going to be organized in Rotterdam. And as one of the organizers, I was helping with fundraising. So basically what happened is that I really wanted Savonia, my university, to have more visibility abroad. And since I was a very active member in the European Youth Parliament for a very long time, I really thought that getting Savonia as a sponsor for this international session would be like a really good way of bringing the opportunities and the universities that you know they're in Europe, in this case in Finland, to the international session. The international sessions of the European Youth Parliament basically like gather people from all over Europe. So that was like a really great opportunity for having exposure for Savonia. And so I approached the communications department with this idea of getting them as a sponsor, and that worked. But what happened was that the person that was communications manager at the time was about to leave for a sabbatical year. And so he told me like, you know, this looks great. We really like this, but I am gonna go on a study leave, so you will need to continue all this work with the new manager. And so I got to meet the new manager at Savonia, the communications manager. And I talked to her about this sponsorship deal. And while we were talking, we really got to know each other. And I got to share what I was doing, what I really like to do. And then all of a sudden, she just brought to me this opportunity. And she said that, okay, well, Jade, would you like to make an internship in the communications department? And I mean, at the time, I think that I was interested in marketing, but I was not yet in love with marketing. It kind of like this love started to come, but it wasn't yet like as strong to call it in a certain way. And so basically what I was more inclined towards business strategy and consulting. So it was this internship really what opened me the doors to really be like, okay, yeah, I want to do marketing, I want to do communications. So the way in which this worked was basically that I was talking to this communications manager because I wanted to get Savonia as a sponsor. And ultimately what happened was that I ended up meeting the communications manager. We ended up talking about a lot of different things and I ended up getting this opportunity. So could I find a better example of how, really just like networking and talking about the things that you like to do, about the projects that you're interested in can open you the doors? I think this is one of this is a perfect example of how things can work out for you. And so this is an internship that I never applied to. This is an internship that just kind of like appeared. And of course, I was super interested, so I decided to take the opportunity. Now, one of the things that really surprised me once I started the internship, and not really like I was not super surprised anymore, but the thing is that in my previous internship experiences, I realized that in most of the times you really have to have a lot of self-initiative and you need to have a lot of like self-learning in order to, develop and grow. And basically when starting this new internship, one of the biggest things that came to me as a surprise, I wouldn't necessarily call it a shock, but the expectations that I had as a student about internship places is that I would go to make an internship and basically I would have my supervisor or whoever would be like my team really guiding me through the things and really showing me the way, like, Kade, this is how we do the things here. Kade, these are your tasks. This is how you're supposed to do it. Let us teach you how we do it, so that I would learn. And once I've learned, I would just, do the thing so that it would of course be of value to the company. But to my surprise, that's not how things work, at least not in the experiences that I've had and not in the experiences that a lot of my friends have had. So basically what ended up happening was that I started doing my internship, but a lot of the things, like, I just was given this task, like, okay, we want that you make our social media more visible, and we want your help with the campaign for the application of our international students to the international programs. I mean, international applicants to the international programs. So I was a little bit involved in campaign and then a little bit more involved into visibility. However, what were the exact things that I was required to do to actually achieve that? Those were not told to me. So I just had to come up with ideas and start brainstorming that, okay, we could do some student stories for here, we could do some interviews like that, and we could maybe like have some pictures of the events here and we can post it like over there. I was at the time like really, new in my career. So I was just really like brainstorming and bringing all these ideas, and it just worked out well. However, if I would have stayed at that level in which, okay, like, I do what it's needed and that's it, I think that my growth would have been like super, super limited. Because what I did was that once I was given these bigger responsibilities of better visibility and help us with the international campaign, I was like, okay, check, but what's the bigger picture? And the thing is that first I was given an internship of 3 months, and then I was offered an extra 2 months. And I think that during these 3 months, I really had to ask myself, like, okay, what is it that I really want to get out of this internship besides the experience? And I thought like, okay, well, obviously the portfolio. I think this is something that maybe a lot of people just like forget along the way. And it's that when you go to an internship, yes, you are learning, but also you are looking to create those pieces of portfolio that would actually reflect your skills, what you learned, what you achieved, which will be the pieces that you will be able to show, for example, when you start applying for new jobs, or when you start applying for new traineeship places, or when you start looking for a new internship. And I think that a lot of people just go to their internships and then they are just like, well, I'm just a student, I'm here to learn, and really like disregard that this is a great possibility for them, for you to actually start building your portfolio and take this not just as an internship possibility, but as a possibility to actually create the portfolio that will open more doors for you. So yeah, I decided that, okay, well, I'm gonna start doing my portfolio. And in addition to that, I thought that this is something that I would really like to do. I mean, I didn't plan my career to go in this way, but basically really going from the business side, being an international student, and jumping into the communications department, responsible for tasks on how to make communications and visibility and campaigns better for internationals, which, it was me. It was just like the perfect job. I mean, it just came so easy to me. It just came so natural to me. And I just felt a lot of motivation of, as I was the target audience of the university, because they wanted to attract more people like me, more international persons that are, elsewhere in other countries, and invite them to come here and get their education from Finland. I was like, okay, well, this is something that I 100% understand and know how to do and want to do better and want to develop it further. So that's what I did. And so during the last 2 months of my internship, what I really had to get clear on was really on the decision that I really didn't want this internship to just be a medium for me to get experience and start building further my portfolio. I really wanted this to be the path towards me landing my first full-time job. And I think this is the place where you do have to keep your eyes open and be like, okay, you are doing an internship, great. What do you want out of this internship? What is it that you want to achieve? Those were the questions that I asked myself. And so when I asked these questions and I realized that this is something that I really want to do moving forward, I thought that it's not enough if I just tick the boxes and do what I was told to do. I need to do more. And so this more really got itself the shape of building a strategy, an international marketing strategy for the university. And it was super cool because by the end of it, I used the last 2 months of the internship to really make this strategy and plan what should be improved, what would I do, and really bring together all of my ideas. And basically in the last day of my internship, I presented this not only to my boss and my coworkers, but also to the vice rector and to the head of international programs and to the head of the internationality department. So that was really cool because I was like, okay, yes, I had a 5-month internship in your organization, but this is the vision that I have. This is how the university would benefit, and it would be great if you'd consider me. Now, before that, of course, I had to be active. These things need to be communicated, because what I've learned is that if you go to an internship and you just stay, sit down and hoping that they are gonna tell you at the end of the internship, hey, we'd like to keep you. Yeah, of course you have the chance that that's just the way that things go. However, if you want to, have a more active role in it, if you really like the place, if you really like the work, if you really see yourself getting a full-time position from that specific place, I think in my perspective, it's not enough to just be waiting, hoping that you would be offered something else by the time that your internship ends. And that's what happened to me. So I really, one of my biggest tips for people that want to land their first full-time job, it's be active and be super intentional. What I did before I started making all this strategy and all these plans and all this beautiful presentation was that I also had a talk with the rector. I emailed the rector and I was very precise with my intentions of working at the university. I told her that I wanted to develop this plan and that I think that the university would benefit a lot from it. And I presented it to her. I got like 15 minutes with her. She's of course like a super busy woman, but those were enough. I was able to like hear to her feedback, and by doing that, I also, you know, make sure that she knew who I was, and I made this, you know, act of presence. This it showed that I was being active, and that, you know, whatever the message and whatever the intentions I had of getting my first full-time job from the university didn't really just stay on me checking the boxes or in me having like a nice presentation at the end of the internship. I needed, and not that I needed, but I was determined to make sure that people understood what was my goal, so that if ultimately I didn't got my goal, it wouldn't be because, you know, I was not active enough or because I could have done things that I didn't do. And so ultimately, I graduated from the Bachelor of Business Administration in the end of May of 2019. And on September of 2019, I got my first 9-month contract as a marketing assistant at Savonia University of Applied Sciences. It was so cool. During those 3 months, I was still working as a waitress in Peasa, in Rosso. So that was beautiful because I was able to fully work like a lot of hours as a waitress in the summer, and I was able to perfectly start my first full-time job right after the summer. And I was able to keep my work as a waitress for evenings and weekends, which was like just, you know, something great, because as a foreigner, one of the biggest not like fears, but one of the biggest things that you always have on your back as a foreigner, it's like you always need to have a job. You always need to prove that you have the income. And so even though I was extremely happy for getting this full-time job almost right after graduation, it was only a 9-month contract, so also I didn't felt safe, you know, quitting my waitressing job, because ultimately that was a permanent job. That was a place where I had learned how to speak Finnish. I had built a lot of my confidence. I had built a lot of my experiences, and for like many years, it was the work that I did at the restaurant what really gave me this extra cash to fund all of the fun things that I like to do, like traveling, shopping, you know, things like that. So basically that is the story. It was so magical. It happened almost like out of the blue. And I guess like, besides just sharing this story, I just really want that you understand that whatever it is that you want to achieve within your career, it is possible. But you do need to be very intentional. You do need to set goals. You do need to, you know, do the uncomfortable thing. And you also need to learn like, okay, what is the opportunity? As I was in the first 3 months of my internship at Savonia, I was really surprised that, you know, people not were taking me by the hand and being like, Jade, this is how we do things. This is how you edit a video. This is how, you know, we make the ads. And this is how we do it like this. Like I was hoping as an intern that someone was gonna come and teach me. And I almost felt weird when I saw that a lot of the things that I had to do was to self-learn and to be, you know, to really bring this self-initiative if I wanted to do more and accomplish more. But that's just the thing it is. And I think that in that perspective, you need to either adapt. And like as I did, I adapt and I was like, well, this is not my favorite way of learning things, but I also see it as a possibility, because if there's no one really teaching me, if there's really not having no one that has this time, spare time to teach me, and if the things that I'm doing are things that no one else is doing because they are not having the time, the space, the resources, that means that if I do a really, really, really good job, I will be able to open this space and actually, you know, get it for me in not anymore as an intern, but actually as a full-time employee. And that is what happened. So with all this, I just want to really invite you that if you are looking for your first full-time job in Finland, be super intentional. Do not undervalue the value of networking, of sharing your story, either on LinkedIn, like, you know, being active in different organizations, volunteering, really opening these doors to discover what is it that you like, what is it that you do not like, and actually take those opportunities seriously, give your best, and then eventually, you know, the universe is gonna bring you the things that you ask for. So this is the way that I got my first full-time job in Finland, a 9-month contract as a marketing assistant at Savonia University of Applied Sciences. And ultimately, after those 9 months, I was able to sign a permanent contract. And that was kind of like how my in-field marketing career started in Finland and has continued to grow after that. So I just wanted to make this video because I noticed that a lot, like one of the most watched videos in my channel is the one where I talk about working and studying in Finland. So I wanted to go one step further and actually share, you know, what has happened, what have I done besides having my part-time job at the restaurant, and what has happened besides having the studies and the part-time job on the side. What happens after that? And well, this is what has happened. This is how it started, and there's like a million ways in which that have continued, because I feel that a lot of the stories that I share here are kind of like from things that I've passed. As I mentioned, as you guys know, if you have been watching my videos, I have lived for a very, very long time in Finland, and there's a lot of things that I haven't shared. So I hope that this has brought value to you. And I'm not gonna take any more of your time. I do hope that you have a very beautiful day. If there's certain topics that you'd like me to speak about, just leave it in the comments below. Have an amazing day, morning, afternoon, night, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.